The alien fleet positioned itself so that each of its warships filled the sky above the last remaining colony on Earth. In the light of their far-off stars, an incredible feat of extraterrestrial engineering shown, they had already destroyed half of humanity's worlds, wiping out colonies with relentless precision. And now, they hovered above what they believed to be the end of a species they had long underestimated, poised above the final flickers of humanity's hope. When their scanners detected a single human warship, the alien commanders looked on with thinly veiled amusement, small, insignificant, laughable in contrast to their imposing dreadnoughts. The lead commander sneered, pleased by what he thought was a defeated species' last, desperate gesture. He didn't even consider that mankind might dare attempt one final stand. To him, this was formality. Aboard the Vengeance, Earth's lone surviving cruiser, tension filled the air. The crew worked in grim silence. Their eyes were hollow, but their resolve was steel. At the helm stood Captain Elias, gaze locked onto the alien fleet. He'd seen firsthand the destruction they'd wrought, the colonies reduced to ash, the families torn apart, the lives extinguished like candle flames. The name Vengeance hadn't been chosen lightly. It carried with it the fury of a wounded species. Despite all they had lost, humanity wasn't done. Not yet. Elias clenched his fists. He could not allow fear to show. His crew needed strength, not doubt, from the safety of their command deck. The aliens observed, chuckling, confident. To them, vengeance was a relic. A final act of defiance from a species that should have given up long ago. Their scanners read the human ship like a children's book. Outdated shields, obsolete weapon systems, laughable defenses. They didn't know. They didn't understand because Vengeance was no ordinary warship. It was built in secret, forged in desperation. The final, terrifying evolution of humanity's will to survive. Beneath its sleek exterior lay experimental weaponry, quantum rail cannons, mirrored energy shields, and tech so advanced even the aliens had no countermeasure. Still, the invaders remained unaware. No negotiations, no surrender demands. They would wipe Earth clean as they had done countless times before, but this wasn't just another war. This was humanity's reckoning. As the alien fleet edged closer, their formation tightened. Victory was so close they could taste it. Their systems locked onto Vengeance, smug in their certainty that one blast would turn the ship and the last of humanity to dust. Captain Elias stared down the inevitable. Faces flickered through his mind, friends, family, comrades long gone. The pain hardened into resolve. The tactical officer gave a silent nod. Weapons were armed, still inactive. Still waiting. Timing was everything. And the aliens were already well within range. Then, with a whisper across the coms, Elias gave the order. In the blink of an eye, Vengeance fired. Not a barrage. Not a scream of missiles, just one single shot. A pulse of silent death from the quantum railgun. It tore through space like judgment itself. An alien cruiser, massive and shielded beyond reason, evaporated into molten fragments. Gone. The alien fleet froze. In seconds, their smug silence turned into disbelief. No warnings, no alerts, just devastation. Their finest warship, gone. The alien command ship erupted in confusion. How? How could such a relic strike with such precision? The lead commander barked orders. He blamed a fluke, a misfire. He ordered another volley. This time, the full fleet would rain fire. Vengeance did not move. Energy beams, kinetic rounds, plasma, arcs. They slammed into the human ship's shields, but the shields didn't break. They pulsed. They absorbed. Then, they reflected. The aliens didn't have time to scream. Their own firepower came roaring back at them. Plasma and beams curved through the black, turned against their senders. Cruisers burst like overripe fruit in the void. The second volley from Vengeance was not a single shot. It was a judgment. Quantum projectiles struck with surgical precision. One by one, more ships exploded. 3 more alien vessels vanished. Consumed by the very power they had once mocked, panic rippled through the alien fleet. The tides had turned. Where once was certainty, now was terror. They had underestimated humanity, and now They were paying the price. Alien commanders scrambled for explanations, for strategy. But there was none, because vengeance wasn't a ship. It was a grave. Built by a dying species. For the gods who came to kill them, they had imagined humanity as weak, divided, broken, but desperation had driven them to unimaginable heights. As the aliens scrambled to regroup, to overwhelm this one impossible vessel, the Vengeance released its full arsenal: mirror shields, quantum fission mines, a warhead that folded space. Alien ships twisted in the dark, crashing into one another. Their fleet was disintegrating, their formation shattered, their command hierarchy gone. And all the while, the Vengeance moved forward, not fast, not frantically. Just steadily, like judgment, like fate. Captain Elias stood unmoved. Around him, his crew worked in silent rhythm. There were no cheers, no shouts, only purpose. They hadn't come to survive. They had come to make sure the enemy didn't. For the first time in the war, the aliens knew fear. They had mocked humanity. Now they saw the truth. They had underestimated the wrong species. Opposition to the extraterrestrial commanders, who were once so certain of their superiority, they were shocked to learn about humanity's previous strategies and technological advancements. They had come to the straightforward conclusion that humans were inferior in every manner, and yet, here they were, confronting a cruiser one that was utilizing weaponry they couldn't even begin to comprehend. A ship that was demolishing their armada, piece by piece. Alien ships detonated all around them. In their desperation to reduce the damage from redirected attacks, the alien commanders scrambled for solutions. They ordered their fleets to disperse, but the humans were unrelenting. The Vengeance pushed the attack. It shifted from defense to offense, launching a second wave of quantum railgun fire with devastating accuracy. Every shot was calculated, every target deliberate. No energy was wasted. Inside the Vengeance, the human crew worked with icy precision and ruthless efficiency. They had waited for this chance to retaliate, to avenge. Each pull of the trigger was fueled by grief, by the haunting memories of their burning worlds, and the slaughter of their people. There was no hesitation, no second-guessing, only the mission. Knowing this moment could change the course of the war, the captain gave precise commands. At the helm, he watched the destruction unfold. He had seen what the aliens had done, seen it with his own eyes. The faces of the dead followed him, but only steeled his resolve, because this battle wasn't just about defending the last human colony. It was the reckoning, he knew. If they could defeat this alien fleet, humanity's scattered forces might finally have the momentum to reclaim what was lost. But if they failed, nothing would remain. Failure was not an option. As it slashed through the alien ranks, the Vengeance kept up its assault without mercy. And with every alien ship that fell, it wasn't just a win for the crew. It was a victory for all of humanity. This vessel, dismissed as a relic, had become more lethal than the aliens could have imagined. Humans, once thought to be dying out, were proving they were not only willing to fight, but capable of winning. The alien leaders began to understand. They had misjudged humanity's desperation, misjudged their inventiveness. Ship after ship went down. Every explosion was a brutal reminder. The mighty fleet was paying the price for its arrogance. Inside the Vengeance, the crew did not falter. They were no longer the hunted, they were the hunters. Eyes fixed on the objective, they pursued relentlessly. The captain knew a single victory wouldn't end the war, but it would send a message: humanity will not break. And now, with their experimental technology fully unleashed, the aliens were finally realizing the cost of underestimating Earth. The tide had shifted. Extinction no longer hunted humanity. Humanity now led the charge. The battlefield was chaos. The once perfectly synchronized alien fleet had disintegrated into confusion and panic. The once dominant armada was reduced to shattered fragments. The alien commanders were reeling. Their tactical edge gone, readouts flashed red. Wreckage littered the screens. Every attempt to regroup was crushed by the ruthless precision of the human counterattacks. In their command ships, the aliens began to unravel. Arguments broke out. Panic spread. Some still clung to arrogance, demanding continued attacks, refusing to admit that even a single human warship could decimate them. But others saw the truth. The humans had outwitted them. The fleet was being annihilated, and the Vengeance, it wasn't just a ship. It was a storm. They tried to escape, tried to regroup. But it was already too late. Captain Elias watched calmly as the chaos unfolded on his tactical screens. He'd studied their structure, knew their fatal flaw. If they could destroy the alien command ship, the rest would crumble. He ordered the Vengeance to lock on. Armaments ready. Fire. The quantum railguns screamed. The alien command ship was torn open. Its shields collapsed instantly. Inside, their leader, who had moments ago barked orders, now stood frozen, alarms wailing as the ship was ripped apart and the rest of the fleet. Without leadership, they flailed. Some tried to escape. Some charged in a suicidal rush. All fell. Every single one. The human targeting systems were merciless. Plasma beams and railgun rounds carved through their hulls, where once there had been an unstoppable force. Now there was only debris inside the Vengeance. The crew remained focused, tired, but steady. They had waited for this day, to reclaim hope, to fight back, and they had won. The alien fleet, once so proud, was in ruins. The survivors tried to flee. Some managed to transmit a single, frantic message to their homeworld. Do not underestimate the humans again. Back on board the Vengeance, no one celebrated. Captain Elias stood silent at the helm. He knew the truth. This wasn't the end. This was only the beginning. The aliens would return. Stronger, angrier, but this time, they would face a humanity that was no longer fragmented. No longer just surviving, they would face a force reborn, focused, determined. Captain Elias turned to his crew. Their eyes met. No words needed. They understood.